there we go. Okay, I think we are up in the MEC. What is up, everybody? We're here for another episode of the Groups for Profit Summit. It's episode number 5. We got about 4 or 5 more to go. So stay tuned all week. We got a whole bunch of stuff. And today's going to be a very exciting one. We got Michael Marcial on to talk about authority building, groups, branding, how to really raise your rates through building up your authority, building up your group, all this stuff, and create consistent 5-figure work week. So that's going to be an amazing one. So make sure you guys type replay below if you guys are watching on the replay, or let me know if you're tuning in live, and say hi to Michael. And yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Excited to have you.
Dude, yeah, thank you, man. We were just rapping before we went live, and I always appreciate what you're all about, super authentic, care about your community, show up giving value, and it's just a pleasure to be here. And I love being like the 5th interview, because that's like my brand. 5-figure work weeks, fives all around, high fives, boom. It's awesome to be here, man.
For sure. Yeah, glad to have you. And I know we're going to drop a whole ton of stuff. But before we do, let's give a little background on you, just in case people haven't heard of you yet. What are you all about? What do you do? Where do you come from? What's your favorite color? All that good stuff.
Yes, sir. Favorite colors, blue and gray. There you go. I'm originally from Chicago. I live in Utah currently. Both cold places right now, but I love it. I come from actually the consulting world. I consulted medium-sized businesses anywhere from $100 to $400 million. And I did that for 9 years until I burnt myself out, because I realized, 1, I didn't really love what I was doing. And 2, I was overworking myself, not seeing my family. 2 things I really didn't want in my life. So I made a big shift now 5 years ago to get into the coaching world, the mentoring world, to show other people how I was bringing on these large clients. And I would love to say it was all like unicorns and rainbows and all these amazing things, but it was rough for the first year of that, going through, leaving my consulting gig, which was kind of part of my identity at that point, going through a divorce, which was super rough. And it took me about a year. I just slid into this depression, into this funk. I couldn't really get out of it. I wasn't really aware that I was there anyway. It took my daughter, who was almost 2 years old at the time, to tell me to make more money for me to understand that I wasn't taking real action. I wasn't putting my time and effort where it really belonged, or where it deserved to see real results. So I took a dose of my own medicine, man, and kicked my ass a little bit. And really quickly, we started to see results. Grew really, really fast into what's now called the 5-figure work week, where now, we can talk about the community, because that's kind of part of these interviews, right? But
definitely,
it's a community of entrepreneurs, coaches, mentors, speakers, that type, that just want to impact more people, reach more of their people, and make income while they're doing it. So I've been at it for now 4 years, and it's been amazing. I get to speak a lot around the world, and I get to hang out with cool people like you, Arne. And it's been a roller coaster, but now it's my heart to just give back, just help.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's been crazy to see, I think we probably ran into each other online, like 2 years ago or something. It's been a while, and then finally got to meet up in person. And even since then, seeing your growth in all these different areas, really building up your community has been awesome. So kudos, great work. Excited to see, what you're doing now and where you're going in the future. So what's the mission behind what you do, and how's it impacting other people?
Yeah, the mission really revolves around people. It's one of those things, man, where I've struggled. We've all struggled. We know what that feels and looks like. But I figured some things out. The mission for me is to spread that message, spread what's working, dismiss all of the myths and all of the hype around the things that actually don't serve people, that aren't going to work, at least not at the stage of business or life that they're in. And just spread real truth, man. Just help people to avoid all the pitfalls that I've fallen headfirst into. That's really the mission, man. The more I can do that, man, I travel to some crazy places on my own dime, just to be on stage in front of a couple hundred people to share what's working. No pay. I'm not selling or pitching anything from stage. I'm there to give real truth. That's the mission, man. My heart, like, gosh, just the other day, somebody told me that they got burnt by another coach that didn't know what they were doing and just was, this salesperson, and didn't really get any value out of it and spent so much of they're the last of their last dollars. And that hurts. That hurts to see that happen. And so anytime I can, I'm about bringing truth to the table.
Definitely. And yeah, that's been seen, heard, felt worldwide. And where have you ended up now? Like 100+ stages in the last couple of years, huh?
Yeah, we did actually just over 100. Last year was 60 stages. This year, my focus hasn't been as much on speaking, but we're still at like 35, 36 stages. It's been really fun.
And that's with your focus not on speaking.
Yeah. You know what? Like these are perfect questions, Arne. You already know this. Like, I already know you're always like 9 steps ahead. But when we start talking about growth, when we start talking about seeing real changes, like I say this all the time. Like I can say this for both of us. We're regular dudes. We just happen to have figured a few things out, right? And like 3 years ago, I guess technically, in 2016, I wanted to speak on stages. I was like, dude, I'm going to get on 12 stages this year. I'm going to crush it. It's going to be awesome. And I struggled to get 10 to 12 stages by me reaching out to like every single person, filling out all the forms and like doing all the things. And 10 stages happened that year. The next year, this past year, 2017, my focus wasn't on reaching out to anybody. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of reaching out to people. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. I'm not seeing the traction I want. I'm not getting the clients I want. Maybe I can change something up. And the one thing that I started focusing on was, part of it's the mission, but it was my brand, like what my brand actually stood for, who I was as a person, the type of people and opportunities that I interact with, the things that I would offer to those people. And for the biggest thing, like the results that I would bring. When I got really clear on those 4 pieces and developed it into a visual thing that you can see on some pieces behind me, that's when things started to get crazy. And then every single day somebody's asking like, hey man, we've got this event next year in May. You want to come out to Chicago? I'm like, hell yeah, I do. I'll be there. Booked, done. Like it turned very, very different, but I started focusing on the brand and the message behind what I was bringing.
Love it. And I hope everybody out there watching is seeing that and feeling that once you felt you had all of these pieces and you had some clarity on them, not everything was done, not everything was perfect, but you knew the vision and you knew the vehicle. Once you knew that, everything else kind of started to fall into place. So even if you guys just get a big picture vision and plan, what do you want to offer? Who are you going to serve? You're good to go. So I want you guys to remember that for sure. And throughout this interview, any piece of content that we drop in here, I want you guys to think of what you can pull from these stories. Always think of, oh, you know what? That applies to me here. We're not just here to entertain. We're here to help change your life with this content. So keep an eye out, guys. Take notes. Share your notes in the comments. And if you guys are finding value at any time, just drop a comment, say value. We always appreciate it. Always boost up the algorithm, get this shared out with some more people. So let's dive into it a little bit. So there was a big point for you a few years ago where you were working on putting all these pieces together, figuring out the vision, and then within the next year something blew up big time. That is my favorite part to dive into with people and figure out, because everybody's always like, yeah, I was living out of my car, and then next thing I know I got this 7-figure contract. Okay, what happened in between there? So what was that period for you where it was like things really started to click and you started making a lot more money in your business? What happened?
Pure magic. That's all it was. Just hocus pocus stuff. Just luck.
Yes.
No, really, that's a great question, because that's the hero's journey, right? Like the thing that's just like, we want to dramatize what that looks like. But here's really what I believe it was. And I've taken some time to document this. This is the type of content that I go over in my group, like, because a lot of the people that I attract are in 3 stages. One, they're like fresh, new entrepreneur. They want to be a coach. They want to be a speaker, or they've just launched. And this right here is perfect for that person, because guess what? That's where I was. I was wanting to do these things more and, trying to figure things out. But here's where it came down to. And this is what I share this across the states on stage. It boils down to this. A lot of times we focus on tactics, okay, like webinars or Facebook ads or courses or all of these different things. And all of that's cool and all of them can be necessary. But what ends up happening is because we're so passionate, because we're so like on fire for what we want to do, we spread ourselves really thin on trying to do all of these different tactics. And if we look at any piece of literature from any person that has had any success, they talk about one word: strategy. And that strategy actually is comprised of various tactics and how they work together like a clock would work. And so I started to fall into that trap also. I started a podcast, which was a lot of fun and it blew up, but it was just a podcast. I didn't have anything else to go from there. I just had a show and it was going well. I did Facebook ads. I spent a ton of money on Facebook ads and setting up all these things, but it didn't quite work for me. Not saying it can't, but you see what it was happening. I was trying all these different things. And when we split ourselves in a dozen directions, we don't go very deep on any one of those things. So for me, I had to get real with myself that all of those things I was doing because I wanted to feel significant. And I say that because I wanted to show up doing a webinar because that's what people doing 7, 8, 10 figures were doing. I wanted to show up running Facebook ads because that's what multiple 6, 7, 8, 10 figure people were doing. But I wasn't that person yet. So I had to really take accountability to where I was and streamline the process because I was only one person. So I really, I doubled down on strategy. So instead of going a mile wide and inch deep on all these different tactics, I went an inch wide and a mile deep on a strategy. So what that kind of looked like was from my car. Some of you know this story. I was sleeping in my car. Classic story. I made sure I felt like the piece of shit that I felt like I was. I gave myself that evidence, sleeping in my 4-wheeled mansion. And it hit me one day. Well, one day it was my daughter from the backseat telling me to make more money so I could have an apartment, so I could have her over the weekend. Ouch. Okay. But then I started to dissect it. I was like, wow, I'm really wasting a lot of time here. I'm not doing anything of value for anyone. It's all about me. Maybe I could reach out to some people and actually serve them. Well, once I did that without a website, I did have a website, actually. It was really bad website. But without all of the things and the stuff, I reached out to 10 people and 5 of them said yes to a $1,000 offer that I made. The value was in me showing up for them. I gave way more than $1,000 worth. And before I knew it, I made twice as much as I had ever had working for these multiple $100 million companies. It was crazy to me. And so to break that down even further, and please, by the way, if you're watching this and you're getting some value, please take Arne's advice, drop us some notes. Let us know what you're getting out of this because this is great feedback for everyone and it boosts that algo. Okay. But really what it came down to was this one thing, is that I needed to know exactly who I was. And that for me was broken down into 2 pieces. What I was extremely good at, like the one thing I was good at, not the million things I'm good at, like the one thing I was good at, and the one thing that I was passionate about. And at that time, it was, I was really talented at creating online courses because I'd done that for previous companies in the past. And I was really passionate about seeing coaches win online. So I put the 2 things together and I started helping people create online courses. That freaking took off really quick because it was very specific. It was tied to like the things I love, the things I was really good at. And before I knew it, I had a business. And I'll leave it at that because I think that answers your question, but I got really clear on that one piece. And then I started offering it to people. Another piece that we sometimes miss, if we're not offering it out there, if we're not even talking about it, nobody can hire you. Doesn't matter if you call yourself a coach. Doesn't matter if you show up with your pretty Instagram photos. It doesn't matter any of those things. We're not going to hire you just because you call yourself a coach, because there's a million of us. Somebody's got to take action. And I'm going to challenge you watching this. If this is resonating, take more of those actions against the things that you've always wanted to do. And you're going to see a difference for sure.
Absolutely. Love it, man. So that kind of kicked you off on the journey to really hitting it bigger, better. And since then, you've helped hundreds and thousands of people to do this process. What is the biggest thing you see that makes somebody succeed versus fail with it? Because there's always going to be a split no matter what. And that's another thing I always like to learn is like those common characteristics of the winners, so that people, can bit by bit really start to embody those characteristics. And then like, oh, what do you know? Stuff starts falling into place when you act like a winner all the time. So how do you define acting like a winner? What do those characteristics look like?
Well, you nailed it. Like if we were to reverse engineer this thing, you look at the people that are successful at what they do. Well, we've all heard the same things over and over, but we don't know why we've heard it. We've heard we've seen the big iceberg picture, we see the success at the top and all the stuff underneath. We've seen the how I thought it would be and then how it was. You're like, oh crap, I'm bankrupt. Oh my gosh, I'm amazing.
Yeah.
We've seen all these things, but we don't get it. The reason why we see those characteristics, the reason why those things even happen is before any of the things that we actually see. It's all up here, I believe. It's the knowing that we are meant for something bigger. When you know this, when you absolutely know, when you can taste it, when you can feel it, right? That's when you don't give up. That's when, you become lucky, when you're prepared and the opportunity arises. That's when it happens. Not every time is your time. You've got to understand that. We have to know that, but we see all the characteristics, what it looks like, but we have to know where that really comes from. Because I will say, I've seen people that will fake it till they make it, but there are those people that I'm going to stake my reputation on this, that already had the mindset, even though they were broke, even though they were the kid that didn't fit in junior high school, even though they were the person with these crazy, weird ideas and this passionate, fiery pit in the middle of their stomach and their chest, not knowing what that was, but they believed it and they didn't forget about that. I think it's that person that just knows that they're meant to win, that will then stick with it, because all the challenges are never challenges at that point. Like me sleeping in my car, I was like, okay, all right, all right, I got this. Okay, you want to throw this at me? Okay. First, I had to take accountability. That's a different story. But I was like, all right, challenge accepted. For me, it was just I'm sleeping in my car, not a big deal. I'm gonna make it happen, because it was already happening up here. So I think it happens from the chin up, and then once that luck kicks in, then you start seeing that momentum really pick up. But we've got to know that it's sometimes a crawl until it's a sprint, and you got to be prepared for the sprint up here. Otherwise, you will not win. It will not happen for you.
Love it. And I like how you say it happens from the chin up. I'm writing that one down.
Well, I put it here because I'm bald, so I have to balance everything. You know what I mean? I got hair here, but no hair here. I got to, chin up. If I did it from the nose up, I'm just bald all day.
Yep.
So, which I don't mind. I like my bald head. So.
Cool. So let's see. So we got Adam in the comments says 5-figure work weeks consistently. No way. So we got a skeptic. Let's show them some of the different types of businesses that do this, and show everybody out there that 5 figures a month, 10K plus a month is milestone numero uno. That's where we start the game. That's where we get into the 6-figure a year. But let's get into the 5-figure a week kind of stuff. So what kind of businesses are doing that, and what's setting them apart besides just the mindset? What are some things that, let's get real concrete. What are some things that people can do every single week, action steps to move them into that 5-figure a week mode?
Absolutely. So basic math is number one. So basic math tells us that, I can answer this in so many different ways. And a lot of coaches are doing this right now. People that are speaking to then coach are doing this really well. Believe it or not, a ton of people are hitting it in a combination of coaching and network marketing. That's been really powerful recently. But here's the interesting thing, basic math. So I love talking about Facebook. Last year, we did almost very close to multiple 6 figures just from Facebook, just from the one platform. And Messenger. I'm going to tell you right now, Messenger is my best friend.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It goes down the DM.
Yeah, absolutely it does. And so here's the basic math. When I first started, and let's talk about Facebook only. I had approximately 1,000 friends on Facebook. Most of them were like from high school, college, friends, family, people that I knew, people that I'd met at events, things like that. And I started down this journey. I started putting out more content. I started to figure out what kind of content my people were responding to. But it was just a numbers game. I had 1,000 connections, no group at the time, no following to speak of, okay? 1,000 people, and only about 10% over the course of a week were interacting, engaging with my stuff. Okay, so 100 people were engaging with my stuff on a weekly basis. From there, we would move it up to like engagement. So not just like we would chit chat, they would comment or something like it was like, okay, now we're in Messenger. Okay, now we're talking about working together. Now we've escalated that, but it was only 10% on a weekly basis, like 10 people, like 2 people per day. 2 people per day were messaging me, asking me more about what I was doing. Okay, not huge volume. Okay, we can all manage 2 conversations a day. Okay, but from that, one person roughly per week was taking me up on my offer. And at that point, my offer was $1,000. Okay, so right there I was at $52,000 a year, roughly. Okay, and so here's where basic math comes in. If you've got 1,000 friends and you're looking at your bank account saying, I can't live on $52,000 a year because of this and that and child support and food and paying my bills and like the overheaded costs and taxes and all that stuff, well, great. Let that fire you up, because I don't want you to hit 6 figures. If you're thinking I'm going to make 6 figures and I'm going to succeed, I'm going to win, like maybe. I remember making 6 figures, and it was like when you make more money, you also spend more money. You think you're a millionaire when you make $100,000.
Yeah.
I know it. I had the cars and the trips and the freaking timeshares and all this stuff, thinking I was a baller, barely making it at 120K.
Yeah. Then you're like, wait, where'd all that money go?
Like, wait, where am I? Like, what's going on? Like, let's massage that out of your brain. But mathematically, what I knew was like, okay, if I'm getting one new client per week, $52,000 a year, I'm in debt. Like, I need to pay off my debts. Like, I need to like survive here. That's not going to allow me to, like, I'm just going to barely make it at that point. So I started looking at my own numbers. I went to school for math. So when I started looking at my numbers, I was like, wait a minute, if the current max is 5,000 friends, why don't I have 4,000 more people that I'm connected to that I could potentially either work with, learn from, or is my peer that I can bounce some things off of? And so I started to do that. I got really clear on who I needed to connect with. And I did. Over the next year, I connected with 4,000 more people. Well, guess what happens when you do that? You have a little bit more authority, meaning you can charge more. So instead of 1,000 people, that I had connection with, I had 5,000 people. And what would happen is it was still kind of the law of 10%. I still was reaching about 10% of those people every week. And lo and behold, those numbers started to rise. My prices had increased, and I was bringing on more clients at higher rates than ever before. And so those $10,000 weeks would just happen. I've had my biggest week was $27,000. Now it's not a 6-figure work week. Look at the title here. It's 5-figure work week. I can't tell you how to make 6 figures in a week necessarily, because I'm not that person yet. I'm not at that level, but I can tell you that just by playing a smarter game, just by investing into strategy, real strategy, and people that know what they're talking about, you can do this. I know you can. Doesn't have to be coaching, but that's like my world: mentoring, working with other coaches, working with speakers, working with those types of entrepreneurs. That's what gets it for me. But I see people do it in e-com. I see people do it in network marketing. I see people doing it in various ways online through internet marketing. So is it doable? Of course it is. Absolutely it is. And if you're skeptic, you're probably somebody that likes to think, and you're probably more apt to hit a $10,000 week than most others that are just kind of skating by anyway. So
for sure,
I love the haters. I love the people that think a little bit, because then something switches and then they actually get after it. So yeah, I appreciate that comment.
Yeah, the real question they're wondering is like, I don't believe it. How does it work? Because they want to like get to the bottom of it, So that's it's a good question. So
it's a great question.
And it's step one: do the math. What do you sell? How much does it cost? How many of those do you need to sell to get $10,000 in a week? Guys, let's do an exercise real quick. Comment below. Give me your 5-figure work week math right now. So like my main offer is the Facebook Groups for Entrepreneurs program that sells for $9.97. So I need to sell 10 of those a week. That doesn't sound too unrealistic now, right? It's not bad. PS, it is on sale this week, 30% off for the whole Groups for Profit Summit through the end of the month. So if you guys have ever wanted one of those, that'd be the time to do it. So let's do some money math on that. How many do I have to sell? 10,000 divided by 697. That is 14 courses. We got a lot of people in this group. I think I can sell 14 courses pretty easily. And the cool thing is you guys don't have to have 74,000 people in the Facebook group, but you do have to have at least a couple thousand on your friends list and ideally a couple thousand in a Facebook group as well. Make this easier, pump up your numbers, make your conversion math stupid simple. So like, let's take a look at it like this. So like, let's say you got an offer that's, you know, coaching or service or whatever, and you got 1,000 people on your friends list or on a Facebook group. How many of those do you need to sell to get to 10,000 in a week? 5. What percentage of your group or your friends list is that? 0.5%. Not even 1%. So when you look at the money math like that, guys, isn't that inspiring? Like I remember when I started doing that earlier on, because like one of my mentors was like, just figure out the numbers, do the math, get the stuff going. And then I broke it down. I was like, that doesn't seem too crazy after all. And then I hit my first 5-figure month earlier last year, and I was like, wow. First up, I made an offer literally every single day. I offered a whole bunch of different things. I followed up, I showed up, and that was when I hit my first 5-figure month. And I was so pumped because I had broken my own 4-minute mile, you know? So I want you guys to think of like what that 4-minute mile is for you, and then do the numbers. Okay, how many people do I have to have, you know, watching my videos or on my friends list or on the group or whatever to get a phone call? How many phone calls come from every live stream? How many messages come from every post? All this different stuff. Break it down backwards, get your conversion numbers. You'll figure out your math pretty easily. So growing the audience will be the best way to do that for sure. Just it's like playing the game on easy mode. So there's a lot of things you've done to grow your audience. What are some of the tips you would give people who want to grow, not just grow their audience, but grow the audience with the right types of people? Because I know we want to talk about authority and branding, all that as well.
Yep, absolutely. And I think all of those things play nicely together. So, you know, for example, if you want to attract the right kind of people, first you've got to be the person that is attracting the right kind of people. Like, for example, I love brand for this reason, not just the logos, not just the look. That's a representation of what brand really is. A brand really is a way of communicating these 4 pieces: who you are, what you stand for, what you're all about, who you work with, what you offer, and for the result that you bring. Those 4 pieces. When you can wrap that up in something called the 5-figure work week, millennial entrepreneur community, you know exactly what you're into, right? Like, so if somebody's not a millennial, not an entrepreneur, doesn't care about community, guess what? They're not showing up to the party. Well, some of them I think still are, but like they're not really showing up to the party. So we grew. So far we've been up for just over a year in the 5-figure work week Facebook group, using a lot of Arne's tips and tricks. We're at 4,500 members, getting closer to 4,600 members. I keep pruning it back to about 4,500 because we have some cool things going on when we hit 5K. But having said that, the reason why it's grown so fast is because I actually put time into developing a brand that would attract a certain type of person. It's not like a mystery that like my tagline is impact and income. Those are 2 things that fuel me. I know that when I impact people, and that's really important for me, then the income is there. Like when I put out, in comes, I'm all good. Everyone is taken care of there. But the brand itself attracts those people, and it also serves as a filter. Keeps away the people that really aren't a great fit. So when you show up 100% in that brand, when you really put your time and effort into that one piece, you start attracting those higher level opportunities, those higher level clients. Like when Arne offers his course, especially at 30% off, like that's craziness. And he happens to now have 74,000+ people that all know and love what he's about. That's why they're here. I'm going to tell you this much. This regular dude here, if I can do it, then anybody watching this can do it. Like whatever the it is for you, I guarantee you can do it. I never thought growing up super poor in Chicago and going through depression and a divorce and all of these things and like not really caring about life. Like I hope that resonates with you to some degree, because I'm just the most regular person. Like I still go through things. Like literally, I went to Chicago for Thanksgiving with my daughter. That was the best, most like fulfilling, rewarding thing that ever happened. From 4 years ago, seeing my daughter like I'm not able to take care of my own daughter, right? Like growing up without my dad in my life, seeing my daughter tell me to make more money so I could like have an apartment or a house to like have her spend the weekend with me, like that crushed me. And then to be able to take her on trips like that and spend real quality time, like that's really what it's about. Yeah, we need income to do that, but like we already know, like a lot of us are just super passionate people about our thing, our craft. And guys, gals watching this, like I can't urge you enough to put some real time into what you're doing, because you can see the results. You see Arnie show up, you see him launch awesome, cool things. You've maybe just for the first time met me, but hopefully you feel that like regular dude here doing crazy cool things in business and then therefore in life. And it's all one big cool thing. But it took me really diving into a brand that would attract those people. There's no secret that like I went from speaking on 10 stages to 60 stages the next year. There's no other thing I can point to other than looking at this brand, getting really clear on it, attracting those people that you could love on and vice versa. And when you offer your next retreat or your next mastermind, your next big course, your higher end coaching programs, then your people are there to love on it all the time, forever. You own that audience. They're your people, and you get to do some cool, badass things. Boom, rant complete.
Yeah, true that. And I remember I was talking with Josh 40.
I do.
Yeah, so I was talking with him a while ago. We were hanging out at the Funnel Hacking Live event, and me and him, we are very similar. We both have big groups, do similar stuff, have courses, have coaching, all these things. And we were just talking about like how grateful we were that at any point, if our bank accounts blew up, if everything blew up, everything totally just freaking backfired, we could go live, talk to people, and have money in our bank by the time our heads hit the pillow that night. And that's leverage. That's power. And when you invest that time into that community, when you show up, you help people, you give 100 times more than you receive. You can receive on demand. Isn't that cool? Like it's insane.
It should blow people's mind. I don't share this. I don't usually share this outside of my group. We are about 40 people away. Speaking of Josh 40, we're about 40 people away from having 700 people having gone through the 5-Figure Workweek mini course, which is $97. Nice. Do some quick math on that for a second. It launched last year in July. Okay. So over the course of a little over a year, 700 people. And I know you're doing the math. That's 70 grand. That's $70,000. Like that's more than somebody's yearly salary at their 9 to 5, right? Like from putting together some content that I shot on my iPhone to prove a point. It doesn't take all the bells and whistles. It doesn't take all the stuff. If you're showing up for real and you have if you've attracted those people, like Arnie is the man at, like you bring those people to the party and you make sure that you're giving something of value all day. You delete your bank accounts. You'll still have money at the end of the day. You'll still have your people. You'll still have what your mission, if you will. So damn, like I wish people, like I hope people can feel this. Like I'm really, I just want to like crawl through.
If you guys are feeling this, type of yes in the comments, because like there's immense power in all this stuff we're talking about here. And I want you guys to not just feel that power, but act on that power. Build your own thing, step up into it, grow your audience, and just keep crushing it. So Let's see, a couple things we went over so far. Number one was the math. So the math is the key to really saying, okay, here's how this might work. Also, I saw somebody said, okay, so I have a coaching for, about $800, so I need about 12 people. I said, well, if you could double your rates and need 6 people. So let's talk about getting your authority up to raise your prices. Cause like that was something that scared the crap out of me when I started. I launched my course for $37 when I first launched it. And then as more results came in, it just kept going up and up and up and up. But I had to start somewhere, and everybody's starting somewhere, but you can't stay stuck at those rates. So how can people boost up their authority, boost their rates, and make sure people keep playing?
Absolutely. I'll answer this really quickly. One is mindset, just knowing that you are freaking worth it.
Yep.
2, invest in your brand. Okay. So when those 2 things combined, it's just like a rising tide raises all ships. Okay. When you have that confidence, like, damn, like actually maybe I know what I'm talking about. Well, that $500 program that you just offered for 3 months, like it jumps to $1,000. And when that happens,
Yep.
and people see you making strides, like your brand over here has to evolve. It has to change and really represent what you're all about. So for me, it was like 5-figure work week didn't exist right at the time. And so when it came time to like really increase my prices, again, I took my emotion out of it. And I was like, I'm really good at this. Okay. I've proven that I can do $1,000 program. It's now $2,500. Let's see what happens. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And because I showed up with confidence, people also bought into that confidence. And I say bought in, not in a salesy way, but like they believed it. And more importantly, they started believing in themselves to then invest in themselves through my programs. Then I was like, oh my gosh, well, 5 people just said yes to my $2,500 thing. That's $12,500 in just a matter of like a day and a half. Like what the hell is happening? And therefore my brand needed to follow suit. I'm going to tell you right now, you guys, like if I can Google search the name of your brand and I find 1,000 different things, you do not have a brand. Okay. Make sure you do some basic due diligence, come up with something powerful that talks to your audience, gives them the result ahead of time. And you're going to attract the people to your group, to your new course, to your new coaching programs, to your retreats, to your masterminds. It lies in that brand. The brand represents how confident you are in the results that you can deliver. Once you put those pieces together, game on, forever, game on, for sure.
True that. Love it. And that's what I see a lot of people just excelling at crazy fast. And it comes down to that first big confidence shift. Because if you try to raise your prices before you don't believe, nobody else is going to believe it either. And I've seen a lot of people get stuck on that too. They're like, oh yeah, my coach said I should, triple my rates. So I tripled my rates and then I didn't sell anything for 2 months. Like, well, you got to close yourself first. So, yes. What tips would you give for somebody who wants to just boost up their confidence to the next level?
Start. That's what it is. Take action. Here's my belief. And it's funny that I used that word. There's the cycle of belief. If we want to go like the psychological route, our beliefs, if we can improve that, either way, our beliefs influence our thoughts, which influence our emotion, which impacts our actions, which yields a result. The result reinforces or breaks the belief. Okay. So a lot of times people want to talk about like, oh, I just need to change my belief, my mindset. True. Unless you feel like a piece of, put a bleep here. Okay. I'm tired of saying like, put a little bleep. Unless you feel like that, you're not going to change your own beliefs instantly. So when I was sleeping in my car, feeling like crap, the only thing that I could do, I couldn't change my beliefs or my thoughts or even my emotions at that time. I could take different actions. It was all up here. It was very heady. Okay. So my instruction, if you will, if you want to gain more confidence, take more action, because then you're going to see a result. Oh, I launched this thing. Nobody bought it. Oh, I posted this post talking about X. Oh my gosh, everybody loved that. Y. Okay. Here's the result. Now I believe that if I can just show up and give better content, then maybe this thing could actually work. Just take more action. I'm going to guarantee that if you're not seeing the results that you want in your business, then you're not taking action, or you're not learning from your wins and losses out of those actions. One of the two. So take more action. The rest will grow. I guarantee you're not going to let yourself fail. So take more action and you'll see better results in time. You just got to take action. You got to start.
True that. All right, guys, leave a comment. Let me know what is one big thing you guys are going to take action on this week that you can commit to this week. Get it going. Leave a comment. Let me know. Let's see. My big thing is I am wrapping up my big Black Friday thing for the course. That big deal, and then we're shifting into some more cool things next couple of months. Got some VIP events coming up. We're doing a big event down in Playa del Carmen in March. Whole lots of plan to prepare for it. Going to be awesome. So that's what I'm committed to. I don't know about you guys. All right, let's see. Jeffrey says he's making some content. All right, buddy's on the stream. What's happening, everybody? So what are you guys committed to? Let me know in the comments. How about you? Like, what? So that's something people always ask me, and I'm definitely curious to ask you. People are like, what's your daily routine? What are you focused on the most every week? Because like, I always love seeing like high performers where they put their energy into consistently. So what's that for you?
Yeah, I'd say it's really just three things, and it almost looks the same every day, but it feels different for me every day. So I focus inward on myself. So I give myself some downtime. I know that we can't always justify that. There's some days where it's an 18-hour day, right? But like most every day, I'm giving some time to myself, whether it's just through mindfulness, it's meditation, it's going to the gym, some combination. So there's some time for myself that I commit to myself every single day. Two, it's making sure that my team, my clients are taken care of. I mean, that's rule number one. Like if we're not performing that way, then nobody's going to show up to that party at all. And three, it's the people that I love, my daughter, my girlfriend, my family, like I'll call my mom. Those are the three things like that I think is really important. Like, that I focus on every single day. There's some other things there, like what I eat in the morning. Like I have the same thing in the morning almost every single day. I have a protein shake with a banana and some peanut butter and chocolate protein with almond milk every single morning. Or my girlfriend will make a protein coffee. Coffee, protein powder, and some organic honey. That's it. Like we could talk about the details, but it's really like what we're focused on will produce a certain result. So I think for me, if I focus on those three things, I'm in good standing to take care of my team, take care of my clients, take care of my friends and family, the people that I care about most, and live life and have fun.
Definitely. Simple enough, right? And that's what I want all you guys to realize, that like what we talk about, what we do, some of it may seem surface level simple. That's the point. We want it to be surface level simple. Boil it down to the basics, scrap all the stuff that doesn't matter. Take care of yourself, take care of your people, and stuff falls into place. So let's see. So we're just about out of time, but what is one big piece of advice that you just want to give all the people in the MEC, one killer takeaway they can go and run and get some results with and move towards those 5-figure work weeks?
Okay. This is going to seem really maybe simple and bizarre. Forget everything that you've ever heard from anyone else that is not you. Okay. First and foremost, forget all of it. Forget the strategies. Forget this stuff that didn't serve you. Forget it. Okay. It's not going to serve you in the long run. So when you start taking action the way that you want to take action, when you start putting out things that you would love to see in the world, gosh, like your clients, your opportunities start to attract to that. There's one main reason. It's because you're doing it. They're not. Okay. Yeah. You're taking action. They are inspired by that action. When you show up confidently that way, they believe you. They want the confidence. They will show up. They'll be here in the MEC. They'll be in the 5-figure work week. They'll be in your Facebook group. They'll be in your courses. They'll be in all those things because they want to know how you did it. So forget all the noise. Forget all the nonsense. Take a chill pill, okay, and do things the way that you want to be done, like the way that you needed that the most, like the previous version of yourself. Do the things that would really serve that person, and your people will show up to the party. So that's my big advice. Forget everything. Do it the way you want. People show up.
True that. Love it for sure. And all right, so thank you so much for coming on, man. This has been another amazing episode. Groups of Profit Summit number 5. Tons of gold nuggets as always. A couple more episodes this week. And so keep an eye out, guys. And so everybody wants to go hang out with Michael. Where should we go find you? what's the best spot?
5-Figure Work Week Mastermind. What up? We have a lot of cool stuff going on there. Interviews like this, Q&As, all sorts of trainings, all sorts of cool things that we drop there. But you can click on my profile because I'm sure it's like it has my name somewhere here. And I've got a bunch of links to the group on my profile. You will need a password because it's invite only. The password is impactful. Or you can drop Arnie's name, my name, whatever. Let us know where you're from. But yeah, come play with us in that group too. Both really strong groups. I'm speaking unbiasedly. We have great people that happen to play in both of these groups. I've learned a lot from Arnie. If nothing else, come hack me. Come see what we're doing. Come see how and why we're doing certain things. But come play. It'll be a good time.
Yeah. And yours is one of like the more well-kept groups. That's quality people, quality content, high-level discussions, less riffraff. So definitely great spot to be. Good group to check out. So dive on in, guys, learn some more. And that's crazy, man. You said you got a course for $97. Everybody should go pick that one up for sure. Where's that one at? I might just have to go buy that.
You know what? We actually, I discontinued it yesterday for Cyber Monday.
Oh no.
I'll tell you what, anybody that wants it from this group only, keep it on the DL, leave a comment below, 5-Figure Work Week course, and I'll hook you up. No worries.
Nice. Yeah. So how did Cyber Monday, Black Friday go? You get some offers out?
Oh yeah, no, it was really cool. We had some really cool. I did a bidding war with my group. That was really cool.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was really fun. And then we had a bunch of people pick up the course. It was the last day that they could have. So that was really awesome. We're close to 700. Hopefully you can help me say there's 700 people. We're like a dozen people away from that number. But beyond this point, I'm going to save the course just for my clients. But anybody that wants it, just comment. I'll make sure I hook you up. Yeah,
guys, make sure to comment course. This sounds like a steal of a deal. $97. Learn how the heck he is doing 5-Figure Works Weeks, how he's helping other people do that too. So thanks again. And all right, guys, stay tuned for the next couple of episodes and catch you tomorrow.
See you guys.
Later.